So last week on the farm, something happened that made me incredibly angry.
What the heck? Somebody stole my SD card. I don't like this one bit.
I was traveling around the farm, undertaking one of my favorite pastimes of setting up trail cameras. Yes, these things right here. I've collected about a dozen of them now over the years, and I have them scattered all over the farm. I'm a huge fan of trail cameras because they give me a chance to witness the nature and animals around my farm that I don't usually get to see. And so for years, I have been geeking out over my trail camera footage. In fact, one of the first videos I ever put up on YouTube was a video of me back in my old apartment in Washington, D.C., just like watching trail camera footage from the farm and wishing that I could be on the farm. As I said, I am a trail camera geek. But yes, as you saw last week, one of my trail cameras was tampered with, and I am very, very angry about it. So for those who are not familiar with trail cameras, you know, the way these things work is you have some batteries, or sometimes they're solar powered, or sometimes they have special chargeable lithium ion batteries. You can mount the camera to like a tree, just like this. And there's like a motion sensor, and sometimes there's even like an infrared flash so you can shoot at night. And it takes pictures or video based on the triggering of the motion sensor. Those pictures and video are ultimately actually stored on what's known as an SD card. It's one of these little dealies right here. It stores all the video footage, and then that's what you get to watch. But I actually don't know why I'm telling you guys all this. You probably all know this already. Well, anyway, I found that last week, one of my trail cameras, which was actually one of those trail cameras that doesn't have like a cell connection, because some of the really fancy ones of these can like actually connect to a cell tower and send you alerts and photos and give you updates if there's activity on your trail camera. Well, last week, one of my trail cameras was tampered with, and somebody had actually stolen the SD card that was supposed to be in the trail camera. And yes, I very intentionally used that word somebody, because while sometimes I've had trail cameras get knocked over or broken because of wildlife activity, I don't know of a single bear that could undo latches like this and then with its paw and fine motor skills pop out the SD card from the camera itself, even I'm having trouble with it, and then steal only this SD card while leaving the entire rest of the camera fully intact.
I'm smarter than the average bear.
So yes, somebody has come onto our farm and stolen our camera footage. And right now I'm in the middle of trying to figure out why and maybe catch who. So come along with me as I hang more trail cameras. Like if you look right here, right? Here's one of my trail cameras. So I actually just set this trail camera up the other day. I'm curious to see what's on it. So it doesn't look like there's too much on this trail camera yet. I set this one up actually in this spot right here because we actually have this choke cherry tree right here. Choke cherries are absolutely beloved by bears. So I'm just waiting for a bear to come through and want to try to chomp some of this down. The other day I was actually out here trimming some brush and cutting trees that were bumping up against the fence line. And I saw some coyote scat right down here. And so between the choke cherries and the coyote scat and the fact that a lot of animals don't like to go inside the perimeter of our fence, this seemed like a pretty good spot for a trail camera. But unfortunately, it looks like we don't have anything just quite yet. So I'll just start the camera again and hopefully we'll detect something soon. And here we have another one of our cameras. Let's see what we got on footage for this one. Ooh, would you look at that? That's some good stuff going on here. See, this is why I actually love looking at these trail cameras. You know, oftentimes I find this to be like a deer superhighway. The deer just come back and forth through this area. You know, I like to use these trail cameras to monitor wildlife, but also when it comes to turkey and deer hunting, it's a helpful tool to know where to best post up if I want to try to get a deer this fall. Because when you view the world of your farm through the lens of the trail camera, you get to be this silent observer and witness things that you would just never have the opportunity to see as a human clumping around here, whether it be traveling by bike or by foot or by ATV. I'm just way too stinky and I make way too much noise to go undetected by wildlife like that. But when I have the trail camera, I get to have a view into that world. And so for me personally, that's why these trail cameras are so gosh darn important. But I think beyond just like being disappointed that I don't get to witness the footage that that camera captured with that SD card, I think the bigger thing that bugs me about what happened last week is, I don't know, it just sort of feels like a one big violation to me, you know? Like here we have folks trespassing on our land, and not only are they trespassing on our land, but they're also stealing stuff from our land. You know, our farm is more than 160 acres. And while I spend a ton of time on about 30 of those acres, there are entire sections of our farm that I choose to let be very wild and rough because I want to have good habitat for the wildlife. But whenever you have a land that large, as much as your instinct might tell you that you want to try to lock it down and treat it like a fortress, you're never going to be able to do it. It's a consistently losing battle. And it's one of those things that I've almost just come to accept. You know, when we first bought this farm, I remember being shocked by seeing some dude who I didn't even know wandering around hunting the farm. And then over the years, we've had some epic conflicts with folks who are hound hunters. And so if I were to guess who stole my trail camera footage, I'm gonna assume it was somebody trespassing on the farm. They saw the camera, they realized they probably got caught on camera, and then they ended up taking the SD card. And as I've gone around the farm and checked every other trail camera I have, I see no evidence or footage of somebody coming on. And so I think it just happened to be that one camera and that one angle, which is pretty close to one of the farm borders, that picked somebody up. And yes, our farm is posted and folks aren't allowed to trespass. And so I can only really chalk it up to something like that as the root of what happened here on the farm. But gosh darn it, it sure is frustrating to have something like that stolen. So for my money, these are the two tastiest apple trees that we have here on the farm. They're very old, and I think they're technically wild, but the fruit that they produce is wonderful. Kind of like a Macintosh, but a little more tart. You know, a lot of the apple trees that we've had here on the farm are really suffering this year because we had some late frosts. It does look like we're gonna get a few good apples here. I wonder if this one's ready for eating. I've found that late August is usually the perfect time for this tree right here. This tree over here is more like a mid-September. It's getting close, but it still needs just a little bit more time. Look at that low-flying plane. I don't know what the heck that's all about. Wow, did you see how low that plane came down to the farm? I mean, I don't know, it couldn't have been more than 200 feet up in the air. Just goes to show you, even when you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by nobody, you are not alone.
See that helicopter? See it right there? Yeah, right in front of us there. Yeah. I think it's been following me all morning.
So we have had some of the apple trees start to drop their fruit, and even if it's not ripe and gets a little mushy, we collect the drops, and those drops make outstanding food for the Piggly Wigglies. Okay, girl, don't get too excited. Back up, back up. Whoa, easy, easy. Like I said, they love these apples. Doing this apple fattened pork is a great way to cut my feed costs as well as get big, healthy animals ready for slaughter. Hey, girls! Come on, girls! Fresh grass, fresh grass, fresh grass! Come on! Come on, girls! Let's go! Come on! Yep, yep! Hey, baby bee! We've got swarms of bugs going around. These aren't the flies that usually bother the cattle, the ones that I trap for. I think they're black flies, which we usually have a lot in May and June. But because it's been such a wet summer, apparently we have them in August right now. In other parts of the country, I think they call them no-see-ums, but they're really annoying. I've been keeping my trail cameras up to date. I've been watching them very closely. I've been doing perimeter rides around the farm. I'm watching especially some of the cameras that I have around the perimeter, particularly the ones that are connected to cell service, so I get a notification. But really, other than that, I don't know what more I can do. I don't think there is much to do. If you guys have suggestions, please, by all means, let me know down in the comments, because I'm very curious to see what I should be doing. I guess this is just another part of farm life.